path wasn't a road exactly, rather a long arcing swath cutting through the equestrian wasteland. Two parallel metal lines reinforced with badly aged cross planks of wood. Half an hour back, it had crossed over a gully on a rickety bridge. After my fun with catwalks, I chose to brave the gully, rather than put my hooves on something else that was surely holding off its inevitable collapse until it could take me with it. Turned out to be a good decision, despite the wounds. The gully had been home to a bunch of large, bloated pig things with extremely nasty front teeth. One of them got a hold of my hind left leg, biting clean through my armor and cutting a deep gash. Little Macintosh was neither quiet nor subtle. A single shot from that sweet little gun tore the head clean off of the pig thing attacking me, and it fires quick enough that I was able to slay 3 others before my targeting spell ran out. Beneath the bridge was some pony's camp. It had a long abandoned feel to it, but there were scattered supplies, including a few cases of shotgun ammo, a single can of food amidst a litter of tin cans. Magical fruit, the label boasted, but it turned out just to be beans. And a locked medical box. I picked the lock easily, finding a healing potion which I swiftly drank, breathing in a sigh of relief as the nasty gash mended gently, the pain ebbing away. There were magical bandages, nowhere near as powerful as a potion, but good for fresh wounds, and a box of mints? Menthols, refresh your mind and your breath. I had been surprised to see a smiling zebra on the front of the box, the first depiction of a zebra I'd seen that didn't look like a storybook villain. Now, I figured I was over halfway to the settlement, maybe 2/3. I tried to keep myself from imagining what I would find. A whole city of civilized and happy ponies? Maybe. I didn't want to set myself up for a letdown. Even a few shacks, I told myself. I picked up the pace of my trot. I heard a gunshot shot in the same instant that I felt a bullet tear clean through my right hind leg, and another clang off the metal casing of the sniper rifle strapped to my back. I screamed in agony, collapsing to a skidding halt on the rocky ground, clutching at my hind leg. I was bleeding profusely through the hole torn through it. The bullet missed the bone, and I could tell that sickeningly, because I could see it. I tossed my head back and screamed again. Desperately, I dragged myself around a large mound of rocks, trying to take shelter from the shooter I never saw. Focusing as much as I could through the terrible pain, I pulled the magical laced medical bandage from my pack. I tried wrapping my bleeding hind leg, but the bandages were meant for cuts and gashes, not gaping holes. It was soaked with blood and sliding off almost before I had finished wrapping it. I tossed the bandage and tried again, this time pulling the bandage much tighter. It too soaked bright red, but at least it stayed. Shaking with fear and pain, knowing from the sudden chills that my body was going into shock, I looked up and tried to spy the pony who attacked me. I looked all around, but there was no one there, and there wasn't a whole lot of cover to be hiding behind. These hills of dirt and rock were mostly barren. I felt like my heart swallowed an ice cube when the image hit me that there was a pony out there with a stealth buck. She could be right next to me, pointing her gun at my head, and I wouldn't even know. But then I looked upward, and there in the sky was a rust-coated Pegasus pony with an orange mane under a black desperado hat, and what looked like 2 rifles, one strapped beneath each wing. The pony had just finished circling back around and was aiming right at me. With a panic instinct, I levitated a large rock in front of my face as a shield. A crack rang in the air. 2 rifles fired simultaneously. The first bullet struck the rock, sending chips of stone flying, and ricocheted, lodging in my canteen. The last of my water burbled onto my hooves. The second punched through my armor, embedding itself in my left shoulder, sending me reeling. Again, I collapsed, in pain peaking and then beginning to bleed off, which I knew wasn't a good sign. This time, I didn't think I would be getting back up again. So, this is what it's all like to die. So overrated. My eyes felt heavy. I closed them, I don't think for long. But when I opened them again, I spotted the ponies drawing near in their wagon, coming from the hill. Behind them would be more ponies, guiding pack, two-headed cattle things. I remember the young pony in the back of the wagon. I doubted any of them would be looking up. Forcing myself to my hooves, I began dragging myself into the open. If I was going to die, I wasn't going to lay down, watching these people get slaughtered. My body screamed in agony into my head, but I kept going, marching myself on lame legs until I was standing in the path right in front of the approaching group. Turning and focusing through the hammering in my head, I lifted little Macintosh into the air and pointed it at the rust-colored Pegasus, who had whipped back around and was again flying right at me. I stood directly between him and the travelers. My vision was blurry from tears and trauma. I wasn't sure, even with Sats, that I could hit him. And I stood no chance against his aim. He was an amazing shot. Technically, he hadn't missed me yet. Putting every ounce of me into it, I growled as menacingly as I could, and I hoped that a pony who had survived 4 shots would be mistaken for a pony to be reckoned with. "Shoot me all you want, but if you attack my family, I will end you." To my surprise, the Pegasus' eyes widened, and instead of firing, he backflapped his wings, coming to a halt in front of me. Whoa, Nelly! Levitating little Macintosh was getting really hard. I had lost all feeling in my shot leg and fell into my haunches without realizing. "I ain't the one attacking the caravan. You are." "What?" Black was seeping into my vision from all sides. My head was swimming. The conversation wasn't making any sense, but at least he was conversing rather than killing me. Weakly, "Not attacking, you shot me." "Well, of course I shot you. I see a raider pony heading in a caravan, I'm gonna perforate her till she ain't moving no more." The rust-colored pony glared at me. Then, with a stranger's proud look, "It's my policy." I felt my forelegs beginning to give. I was near collapse, but the words of the pony caused a fire to flash in my head. Little Macintosh had begun to sink towards the ground, but now it swung back up, pointed right between my attacker's eyes. "I'm not a raider." The pony pointed at me argumentatively. "Sure look like a raider." Seemingly out of nowhere, the colt from the wagon galloped into view. I tried to raise my voice in a warning, but nothing came out. The blackness fighting to overtake my vision finally won, and I collapsed, sinking into what felt like a deep sleep. The last thing I heard was the colt whinnying. "Calamity, what have you done?" Footnote: Level up. New perk. Egghead. You will add +2 skill points each time you gain a new experience level.